So whenever you think of an iPhone, especially me, whenever I think of a device, I always think of some of the best iPhones Apple's made and some other things here. But throughout my lifetime of owning all these iPhones and being in the iOS ecosystem, you kind of hear some things here and there. And throughout the last couple of years, there's definitely been some lower rated iPhones that I've kind of thought to myself like, wow, people really don't like these iPhones. And from a scale of 1 to 10, these are some of the iPhones that are typically placed on the lower end, on the lower scale of things from what I've heard. This is not an official list, this is just my opinion, but I do think some of you may agree with this. Now, the first iPhone is the iPhone 5C, as some of you may know. Now, this was not a bad iPhone, it didn't have like some crazy controversial issue, but the main thing about this iPhone, from my experience and me owning this iPhone and owning it now, was that it was a cheaper version of the iPhone 5. It really wasn't that much less expensive than the iPhone 5, but also in the used market, the iPhone 5 was going for cheaper at that time than the iPhone 5C. It was a watered down iPhone. It really didn't have any reason of it even being released in the first place, but I do appreciate this iPhone because it was the first time we saw Apple actually make a budget tier device in terms of, an iPhone, not budget tier device as a whole, but they made a cheaper iPhone specifically for a budget. And I think that was a really good thing. This was also one of the first times they sold two iPhones at the same time. So I think that's another pretty cool advantage too for this type of device. But ultimately, it really wasn't that great of a device, especially when you consider the iPhone 5 pretty much being a way better phone than the iPhone 5C, and you could have gotten it for cheaper. Now, the iPhone 5S that came out at the same time had way more capability, and that phone ended up being supported for much longer than the iPhone 5C as well, even though they came out at the same time, and that mostly had to do with the chipset inside of it. So that was the first iPhone I could think of as the lowest rated one. Now, another device that came to mind was the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus. Now, this was not a bad iPhone. I still use this iPhone for some videos, and people still like it, and I'm sure people are still using it, but this was a lower rated iPhone, mostly because of the controversy surrounding this device. I think the 6S and 6S Plus were basically what these 6 should have been, but Apple also kind of cut the life early of this iPhone, much earlier than expected when you consider the gap between an iPhone 6 and an iPhone 6S. Apple could have probably kept supporting this thing if they went to with full OS updates, but they didn't. And another thing that I see constantly all the time is that the iPhone 6 was one of the best-selling iPhones of all time. So how could this be a lower-rated iPhone? Well, the number one reason why this is the case is because so many people got their hands on it, and I think a lot of people were eager to go and switch away from this device after the bend gate issue, after I guess the performance decrease that some people saw going from the 5S to an iPhone 6. Yes, the 6 was faster, but a lot of people couldn't really tell. And after the 7 and 7 Plus actually cut off the headphone jack, I think a lot of people wanted to maintain some of these older iPhones, but then once the iPhone 10 came out, I think a lot of people jumped to that device, and I can't really think of another iPhone that is lower rated in my opinion than the iPhone 6 or the iPhone 5C. So again, not an official benchmark or anything, but just something I kind of wanted to put out there. If you guys have any questions, or if you have any iPhones also that you think are lower rated than these ones, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.